Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. Happy Friday to you all, and Merry Christmas. We do say that here. We don't do the happy holidays. I do wish you happy holidays, but Merry Christmas. We don't really do the happy holidays thing mostly, though, because it's nonsense to me. We're celebrating Christmas. The reason that we all stop doing what we're doing, go Christmas shopping, celebrate Santa, watch movies like Elf, and all the different Merry Christmas movies is because it's Christmas. So Merry Christmas to everybody. Very excited to be here in this very busy run up to Christmas. So thank you guys for watching. And boy, it's a time to watch. There's a lot happening right now. I just, no matter how much I look and I prep for the show and I prep for the show and I prep for the show. And man, it doesn't matter how much I prep. All I got to do is look, and there's more. And right now, the biggest topic to me and the most important topic is the deep state. The deep state is winning. I mean, folks, Susie Wiles just did a 11 interview, anti-Trump rant where she ripped everybody in the administration. Everybody. Just absolutely. J.D. Vance, a conspiracy theorist. Trump's got an alcoholic personality. I mean, these are direct quotes, right? This isn't us dividing MAGA. These are direct recorded quotes. She said it. She said it, right? She also, by the way, called everything that Trump wants to do to put bad guys in jail, she calls it retribution. It's not retribution, it's justice. Bad guys going to jail is justice. Just because they're Democrats and just because they're her buddies doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It just means that they're bad guy belong along in jail. And that's what it is, right? And providing justice is not retribution, but she calls it retribution. It's a very important word, folks. It's something that nobody's talking about is her use of the word retribution. It's a retribution to her. No, it's justice. And she talks to Trump about it being retribution. She lies about it being retribution. She characterizes it as retribution because she doesn't want justice. She wants to lie about it. She's taken the Democrat position. It was interesting the way she talked about this. You read that article, it should have made you sick. But after insulting everybody, undermining everything that MAGA believes in, instead of firing her, all of these ass-kissing sycophants were required to go out on Twitter and post big messages about how wonderful she is. Can you imagine? Can you imagine being J.D. Vance or someone like that, having her rip you apart and then having to go out and tell everybody she's great? I mean, Bondi is garbage, but I mean, Bondi, even it was funny to me that Pam Bondi had to kiss her ass on X after Wiles threw her under the bus. That was really something to me. I mean, but that tells you Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi is exactly who she appears to be, in my opinion. I mean, she's sellout. She literally has her boss, Wiles, throw her under the bus and rip her all over in an article, and then has to go out and kiss her ass. That right there is not just an embarrassment, but absolutely ridiculous. I've never seen anything quite like that. So there's that. But across the board, this is just sad. And I saw it today and more of it, but we'll get into that in a second. But, at the end of the day, the deep state's winning. Meanwhile, there's this divide over Israel, and I'm pro-Israel. Okay, I'm pro-Israel. I'm good for the Jewish people. I am against Netanyahu. I think Netanyahu's a crook. Netanyahu is a garbage leader. I think he's one of the most corrupt leaders on the planet. I don't like him. But it's interesting to see our side get divided. You're not allowed to talk about Netanyahu. You're not allowed to talk about anybody. They try and call you an anti-Semite. Well, I mean, here's a news flash. I'll go to battle for the Jewish people just like I would any other people out there. We don't destroy a people. We don't go after a people just because there's some bad apples. There's bad white people. There's bad black people. There's bad brown people. There's bad people of every race. There's bad Christians. There's bad Muslims. There's bad Jews. There's bad people of every religion. There's bad people of every race, creed, color, and religion. You don't go after everybody just because there's bad people. And it's absurd to do that. It's a horrible thing. But to suggest that someone is racist or anti-Semitic or phobic of some sort, right? Because they have issues with bad people because they call out people of a specific race, creed, color, religion who are evil is absurd. That's a tool of dictators. Dictators use that tool. Well, you can't insult me because you're insulting my race, you're insulting my religion, you're insulting my... That's what dictators do. That's a horrible thing, and we're not going to stand for that. It's disingenuous. It's absurd. Netanyahu gave money to Qatar and funded Hamas with it. He funded terrorists who killed his people. He also forced the vaccine on his people, that God knows how many people were killed with that. I'm sorry. The guy's evil and corrupt. I don't like him. I don't like him specifically because he was killing his people, which happened to be the Jewish people largely. I don't like him because of that. That's the opposite of anti-Semitism. I don't like him because he was attacking his own people who happen to be Jewish. That doesn't make me anti-Semitic. That means I'm just not a fan of a crooked politician. I'm also not a fan of Joe Biden. That doesn't make me anti-American, right? I'm actually pro-American because I didn't like Biden. So, I mean, you can't, this is nonsense, but these are deep state tools. These are propaganda techniques, tried and true. It's interesting when I see, them use the same techniques to protect Bibi Netanyahu that Hitler used. You can't question the Fuhrer. Well, listen, I can question Bibi Netanyahu. He does not do what he did to the Jewish people during COVID, what he did to the people of Israel during COVID, when he forced the mRNA vaccine on them. It was appalling. It was atrocious. And yeah, I'm going to speak out against it. What he did when he funded the Hamas terrorists through Qatar was appalling. And yeah, I'm going to speak out against it. And so the idea that we're going to allow censorship, because it's absurd. So, I see the division in conservative influencers between pro and anti-Israeli. Well, it shouldn't be between pro and anti-Israeli. I mean, we should all, why would we have a problem with the Israeli people? I don't know why we would do that. Why would you, for anybody that's anti-Semitic, I don't like it. I'm not anti-Semitic. I don't like you. If you're against Jewish people because they're Jewish, you and I disagree. And I don't like you any more than I like a racist. But I can disagree with Bibi Netanyahu. I can disagree with the policies he's implementing. I can disagree with the corruption that we see in the Israeli government and not be against Israel. Because the people of Israel are dealing with the same sort of corruption that we're dealing with here in America. But you see, this is the thing. Tyrants always use these same techniques, and they're using it to divide the conservative base. They're using it to divide the MAGA base. And we've got a bunch of paid influencers who are involved in that. So we're getting into all this. We've got a lot to talk about today, folks. Lots to discuss. I want to get into all this. Before I do, remember, we need your help. We got to have your support. GiveSendGo.com/Renslaw. GiveSendGo.com/Renslaw. This is how you support us. This is how it's a giving season. Please support us. Please help us. Please back us. Our work is hard. It's difficult. It's expensive. Nobody supports honesty anymore. You got to understand, influencers are bought and paid for on both sides of the aisle. There's only a handful of us out there willing to tell the truth, and it's a brutal, brutal slog. So you got to support us. GiveSendGo.com/Renslaw. Also, go to TomRenz.com, www.TomRenz.com. Check out our shop, our partners and affiliates. This is where you should be getting last-minute Christmas presents because you get discounts on all of it, right? And we got the best stuff out there. Don't forget, Global Healing, men's hormone support, right? The war on testosterone is real and is active. Your testosterone levels are going to suck if you're a man because unless you're on things like men's hormone support from Global Healing, it's just going to do a lot. You're just going to have trouble. So make sure you're supporting Global Healing and supporting your own testosterone levels. It does a ton of good things for you. And today, make sure you're supporting Block Trust IRA. Crypto's coming. Trump's pushing it. Listen, You can make the money off of it, or you can not. But it's going to happen whether you like it or not. If you're going to make the money, use our Block Trust IRA. Listen, these guys are good. If you click on the link, you go to TomRunsCrypto.com. TomRunsCrypto.com. If you're going to buy crypto, you might as well get it from there because you're going to get a deal. And then also remember, it's Christmas, guys. If you're looking for a last minute idea, don't forget Rocasa. Rocasa is a lifesaver. Use checkout code RENS. Go to Rocasa, checkout code RENS, 20%. Good stuff. Lots of stuff. Your wife, your girlfriend, this is good stuff. They'll like it. You want to get that, and then you should get the men's hormone support too, because if you want to make your wife and girlfriend happy, you need both. So anyways, support us, TomRuns.com. Don't forget, we need your help. All right, let's get to the show. Let's start out here. So I'm looking through Twitter, and my friend General Flynn says there's a post by Amuse, and I like Amuse, and it says, "Color Revolution. The CIA whistleblower says the Seditious Six ran a textbook CIA-style destabilization operation using the same tactics long used to topple foreign governments. This is aimed at overthrowing the U.S. government itself, right? So this is Seditious Six that went out and said that the military should ignore Trump's orders, right? These people were crook. It was a horrible thing. It was horrible. I mean, these people are horrific. General Flynn said in response to this, people must start being arrested. He says, at real Donald Trump, you will lose this country to a socialist takeover if you don't do what you said. Drain the swamp and hold people accountable. Donald Trump has to do it. I agree with General Flynn on this 100%. He is dead right. Donald Trump is going to lose this country. He's going to get impeached, and he's going to end up either in jail or his kids will be in jail. He's going to lose everything. The Democrats are going to come for him, and the Democrats are going to crush this midterm unless he starts doing something. Bad guys got to go to jail, and Susie Wiles is an absolute crook. Susie Wiles telling you it's retribution instead of justice is absurd. This is not about retribution. But Wiles, your chief of staff, your lead wisdom, the person who's all the wisdom, is out here telling you it's a retribution tour. It's not a retribution tour. If anybody on the planet should talk about this as getting justice, it should be her. What about the J6ers? Well, here's the problem. Wiles wants the J6ers in jail. She didn't like them being pardoned. Read the article, folks. She didn't love it, especially the violent offenders, right? The violent offenders who the FBI pulled in on. There were no violent. This is the only violent offenders were FBI agents or people who the FBI instigated. I mean, it's insane. J6 was absolutely not what was told. It was a Democrat hoax, and everybody knows it. And Susie Wiles knows it too. There's no way in her position she doesn't know. She is an insider extraordinaire. She's a Bush acolyte. This woman calling this a retribution to her because he arrested Letitia James? Are you kidding? She's a crook. Why was going after her using the same tactic? Was it a retribution to her for the Democrats when Merrick Garland was doing this? Was that a retribution to her? No. But yet Susie Wiles wants to call it a retribution to her. Why? Because she doesn't want Trump getting justice. She's a crook. She's a sellout. What do you want me to say? It's funny to me when I look online, and there's two responses to this Vanity Fair article. One is, the sellout weenies who, they make their money kissing Trump's ass. They want to be a part of the administration. So they are, listen, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I like Elena Haba. But today, you get this post by Elena Haba is a case study in this. Ben, let's put this up there. Elena Haba says, same playbook, different day. Media outlets twist words to create the illusion of chaos and division. Susie Wiles is a force. This team is united, and the administration isn't flinching, let alone backing down. Elena, I like a lot of what you did. Get your head out of Susie's ass. Oh, listen, I can't say man up, woman up. I don't know, toughen up. Listen, you're sucking ass because you want a position. Everybody knows that Wiles demands loyalty or you're gone. Everybody knows this. It's not a secret. Anybody within 100 miles of Washington knows this. All these people kissing her ass, kissing Wiles' ass because they're afraid of getting cut off, this is an embarrassment. And I said this. I said it. I quoted her. I said, listen, here we go. I said, I like much of Elena Haba's work, but there are no games here. There are direct quotes that were recorded. They didn't twist her words. They recorded her and took direct quotes. This isn't a twist. Listen, she did an interview where she ripped Trump back a while back in Politico. Wiles doesn't like MAGA. She's not MAGA. She's an old school Bush rhino. She is not MAGA. I don't know what this is about. This isn't, there wasn't, listen, it wasn't a hit piece. There were 11 interviews. 11. And yeah, I take it back. It was a hit piece, no question. But it was a hit piece that was easy to fire because the chief of staff of the president of the United States doesn't believe in his base. She's not MAGA. She's a rhino. And you want to know what power looks like, folks? Power is Susie Wiles ripping her own administration and then everyone kissing her ring. I mean, if that wasn't a power trip, I've never seen one. It was an embarrassment. It was an absolute embarrassment. You can see I've gone through this, right? You've got right here, right? You got a DC federal prosecutor telling the New York Times that he's already planning on going after Trump, right? As soon as Trump's out of office. But meanwhile, you got the president's chief of staff hiring Pam Bondi, who's done nothing. Now, Wiles rips Bondi publicly in this article, but you notice Bondi still has a job. Why? And I asked Trump that. I said, Trump, maybe you ought to quit making excuses for Wiles and her buddy Bondi and start demanding results. You can bet that if we don't get real convictions, the Dems will come for him, especially after Wiles sets up the midterms as a referendum on the president and the Dems feel emboldened when they crush the GOP and impeach him. Praying he starts listening. Trump is going to get school in the midterms. Bondi's going to make it a referendum on Trump. I'm sorry, Wiles is going to make it a referendum on Trump. Then when Trump gets impeached, guess what happens? It's a real easy thing, and the Dems go after him, and there'll be no more Trump Tower. It'll be more like Trump's prison cell. Trump is absolutely undermining his position. It's bad. It's bad, folks. Look at this. Look at this. I posted this. This is really important. So this is from the article. Wiles told me she underestimated the potency of the scandal. She's talking about the Epstein scandal, right? Whether he was an American CIA asset, a Mossad asset, whether he was rich, important, went this nasty island and did unforgivable things with young girls, she said. I kind of knew it, but it's never anything I paid a bit of attention to. Now, wait a second. Did Susie Wiles literally just admit that the Mossad or CIA were involved with this? Did she admit that? Did she admit that she knows about the child rape ring? And yet she's not pushing for anybody to go to jail over it. Can anybody explain to me why it is that Susie Wiles doesn't think people need to go to jail over raping children? Can anybody explain this? She literally admitted in the article. Her words, these are direct quotes. A direct quote from Susie Wiles. You can see it right here. I'll make it big so you can't miss it. Wiles told me she underestimated the potency of the scandal, quote, whether he was an American CIA asset, a Mossad asset, whether all these rich, important men went to that nasty island and did unforgivable things with these girls, she said. I kind of knew it, but it's never anything I paid a bit of attention to. You don't care if globalist billionaires are raping girls? You don't care about this, really? You don't care if there's a child rape ring being run to blackmail people by our CIA or by the Mossad? Your words, Susie. Why don't you care? Why don't you care? Then she goes on to throw Bondi under under the wagon, and Bondi's bio. So she literally goes on to this and says, "I think she completely whiffed on appreciating there was a very targeted group that cared about this. First, she gave him binders full of nothingness. Then she said that the witness list or clients list was on her desk. There's no list." And it sure as hell wasn't on her desk. Okay, so that's where where Wiles. So Wiles successfully admits in two paragraphs, she admits CIA or Mossad are involved. She admits she doesn't care about rich billionaires raping little girls and doesn't care about it. She then goes on to rip Pam Bondi apart, says she whiffs it and then how bad it was, then lies about the client list. Let me explain to you what I mean by lying about the client list, folks. Do you know why it is that all these folks in the administration are saying that there's no client list? Because there's no piece of paper where Jeffrey Epstein said, "Here is my client list," titled client list, and then listed everybody that raped children. But if you don't think he had a black book of people who were on his blackmail ring, well, they may not have called it a client list, but it doesn't mean we don't know. And by the way, our government's got video, tons of video, truckloads of video of rich people raping little girls. Why aren't any of them being investigated or going to jail? Why isn't that happening? Where's that? I don't need something titled Epstein client list. What people are talking about is the list of people who you have evidence of raping children, which, by the way, Susie Wiles just admitted exists, right? So Wiles is deep state, Wiles is corrupt, and Wiles is undermining the president. We see that very, very clearly, crystal clear, can't miss it, right? So Wiles is deep state, Bondi's deep state. I'm sorry, they just look like it. Meanwhile, you got this over here, right? Guys, I'm sorry. I've always liked Bongino. I really have. But he blew it here, right? And I see this, and I don't mean to rip MAGA Kitty. MAGA Kitty does some good work. But buckle up, buttercuts. Vince Cole's hits that Dan Bongino will be spilling the beans on what he encountered the FBI when he returns to his podcast. No, he won't. I'm sorry. I appreciate that Bongino thought he was going to do something big and walked away from his podcast. He sold out. He's a pussy, right? I'm sorry, he's a pussy. This was pussy. There's no, and I'll tell you where he got me. Where he lost me when he tried to convince me that Epstein committed suicide. Are you going to tell me that a guy that was Secret Service, a cop, all this experience, who never believed this, he didn't notice the missing minutes in the video that they released? He didn't notice peculiarities of this case? He just didn't investigate it because he didn't want to. He lost me on this. I'm sorry. I hope Bongino does something big before he leaves FBI. That way, he can. I would love nothing more than to see him regain credibility. But he isn't going to go do something on his podcast. If he doesn't do it before he leaves FBI, he ain't going to do it. It's just not gonna. I mean, we already know that he's got NDAs, he's got pledges, he's got all sorts of things. He can't say anything. He just can't. He sold out. I hope I'm wrong. He's got until he retires. The day he's done with the FBI, if he hasn't done it, everything you see on his show is a script. He is not allowed. He is legally going to be prohibited from saying what he saw or what's going on. Trust me. I know that. I know. Listen, as Rush Limbaugh used to say, I know rhinos like I know every glorious inch or every inch of my glorious naked body. I know rhinos like I know the back of my hand. Quoting from, except for he talked about Democrats. We've moved on. We have to know the rhinos now because the rhinos are the new Democrats, right? We have libtards out there, but they're not credible. They're insane. I mean, they're just, so now the big problem are the rhinos because the rhinos and the Democrats, they're virtually the same thing. Listen, Bongino can't speak on this. He's legally prohibited. There will be nothing coming from his show that's going to be useful or reasonable. It's going to be garbage. So don't expect his show to do anything big for you. That's just not going to happen. So anyways, we look at this. Oh, by the way, I did this other post. This one made me smile. Cash is talking about his documents that he turned over about the probable cause. You guys see this? They've got documents showing that FBI, no one believed that there was probable cause to raid Mar-a-Lago, and the Democrats pushed it anyways. Did you see this? Kash Patel actually had the balls to say that I turned these documents over to Capitol Hill. How many people did you arrest for it, Kash? How many? So I asked the question, will Kash find his testicles and arrest someone, or will he continue to allow Bondi to keep them in a lockbox in the purse she carries with her to Fox News interviews? I'm sorry, but Patel is one of the biggest disappointments of this administration. This guy, just no one. They're not arresting anybody. I don't care if, you know what, if DOJ wants to throw the cases, because that's what Bondi keeps doing, that's fine. At least do your job, Kash. You said you were going to do some things to reform the FBI, to shut things down. There's been nothing, absolutely nothing. It's an absolute embarrassment. Nobody's arrested. This is an absolute embarrassment. I don't even know what to say about it, guys. It's an absolute joke. Anyways, it is what it is. So we got all this happening. I want to shift, right? So we've got the deep state bad here in the U.S. It's not just the U.S. The deep state's everywhere. And one of the things that they're trying to do is they're trying to divide the MAGA base. And they can't, because you're either going to, if you're truly MAGA, you're not going to be divided. Now, I played this video for you guys the other day, and I want to play it again because I saw this from Liberty Daily, and I didn't think of this at the time. So this 2-minute speech by Netanyahu, I want you to re-listen to this. And this was what he said after the horrible attacks in Australia, where some actual anti-Semite Muslim nutbag came out and shot a bunch of Jewish people because he hated Jews. Now, that guy was a true anti-Semite. He was a true monster. And luckily, he was stopped by another Muslim, believe it or not. This is good. But here's the deal. One of the things that I didn't see in this, and I didn't see it because I didn't want to. So I am against anti-Semitism. If you hate someone who's Jewish because they're Jewish, that's like hating someone who's Christian because they're Christian. You can't do that, right? There are people who just want to live their life from everywhere, and it doesn't, they're not evil just because they are what they are, right? So I got a problem with that. So I didn't see this. I just didn't realize this. But I want you to listen to this. And I want you to hear what they're talking about, the cancer of anti-Semitism. And I want you to think about it through the lens of censorship, right? Because I don't like racism, but I can't ban people from having their own thoughts, right? Perspective that I think is evil or horrible, well, it's still free speech, right? If you're a racist, I don't like you. But you have the right to be a racist, right? Just like a Democrat has the right to be a Democrat, a Republican has the right to be a Republican. See, if I censor someone else's speech, then they can censor mine, and I don't want that. So it's either free speech for all or free speech for none. There's no middle ground on that. When I first heard this, I was thinking more about the illegal immigration of Islam and how they're, kind of colonizing everything. And that makes sense. But I want you to listen to this again, but I want you to think about the way that they're talking about stopping anti-Semitism. Well, of course, we need to speak out against anti-Semitism. And of course, we need to, take steps to stop racism and all these isms. But the government can't do it via legislation, right? Because if you do, you're legislating speech, and we can never legislate speech. So hear this again. Tell me what you think on this.
On August 17th, about 4 months ago, I sent Prime Minister Albanese of Australia a letter in which I gave him warning that the Australian government's policy was promoting and encouraging anti-Semitism in Australia.
Now, if what he meant was their policy of allowing, militant Islamists to immigrate, then that's true. Okay. But what we cannot have is a policy against speech. You don't, if what they're doing is evil, if you don't want them in your country, don't bring them in. But because we have the right to stop immigration. But if you're here and you're a citizen, you get the right to speak. Now, Australia's different, but let's hear the rest of this.
I wrote, your call for a Palestinian state pours full fuel on the anti-Semitic fire.
Okay, wait. This is the problem. This is where I run into a problem. I didn't catch this the first time. Your call for a Palestinian state. Now, I'm not calling for a Palestinian state. I don't know what I don't really, I go back and forth on it a little bit. I don't have a hard opinion on it. I certainly understand the Israeli position that we don't want a group of terrorists sitting next door to us. But at the same time, I also understand you got a bunch of people who've been here for a long time. They probably aren't going anywhere. What are you going to do? You're going to have a genocide? You can just kill them all? Because they ain't going anywhere. So just give them some space, let them do their thing, separate, just let them live, right? So I understand both sides of it. I don't take a hard position on either side. What I do take a hard position on is I don't like the terrorism that comes from the Palestinian place, the Hamas and all these crooks. And I also don't, but I also disagree with Netanyahu. He's using the anti-Semitism that actually exists and the terrorist activity to say that to promote censorship. And when he's saying that we have to stop anti-Semitism, listen, we can educate and tell people it's stupid to hate someone because of their religion, but we cannot ban it because that's banning free speech.
It rewards Hamas terrorism. It emboldens those who menace Australian Jews and encourages the Jew hatred now stalking your streets. Anti-Semitism is a cancer. It spreads when leaders stay silent. It retreats when leaders act. I call upon you to replace weakness with action.
Action. What does he want the president to do? Ban free speech? Because listen, I find anti-Semitism to be repugnant, but you cannot ban speech, ever. Free speech for all.
Appeasement with resolve. Instead, Prime Minister, you replaced weakness with weakness and appeasement with more appeasement. Your government did nothing to stop the spread of anti-Semitism in Australia. You did nothing to curb the cancer cells that were growing inside your country. You took no action. You let the disease spread. And the result is the horrific attacks on Jews we saw today. We saw an action of a brave man, turns out a Muslim brave man, and I salute him, that stopped one of these terrorists from killing innocent Jews. But it requires the action of your government, which you're not taking. And you have to, because history will not forgive hesitation and weakness. It will honor action and strength.
Again, action. What do we want? What does he want us to do? Does he want to ban free speech? And listen, in the United States, we have a First Amendment, and it protects you from being censored. You can say horrible things in this country. And I don't have to agree with what you're saying, but you have the right to say them, right? You absolutely have the right to say them. I think anti-Semitic actions, remarks, I think any racist remarks, it's garbage. I don't like it. But you have every right to say it. And I'll fight for your right to say it. I will not support this absolute dictator wannabe. Netanyahu's approach, this is what dictators do. You got to take action and stop free speech. No, I'm sorry. But Israel, please fire this guy. Can't you guys find someone that isn't a terrorist supporting, mRNA pushing thug to run your country? Can't you guys find someone better? I mean, find someone who's strong Israel. Find someone who supports your, your borders and defending. But how about finding someone who doesn't fund Hamas or doesn't force mRNA jabs? Come on. So this is the kind of nonsense that's occurring. Now, this guy is not good. Okay, I'm sorry. His anti-free speech, his nonsense. This is not. It's not compatible with American politics or values. It's just not at all. So we got that going on, right? So Netanyahu is using his position, and he's essentially buying people off, right? He buys people off all over the place because he can, right? So he is, to me, Netanyahu is one of the biggest crooks ever. But one of the places that he's realized that he needs to buy people is in the conservative influencer network within the United States. Number one on the list of people he's bought off has to be Ben Shapiro. I'm sorry, Ben Shapiro is a little weenie. This guy is just a little weenie. I don't know what to say. Everything about him bothers me. Even his voice drives me nuts. I do not like this guy. He's an arrogant, condescending little turd. Just a turd. And he's not even that. I mean, he's just. It's not that he's not smart. The guy's sharp, but he's defending an indefensible position. The problem with being a liar and a sellout is that your position's indefensible because it's not based on truth, and that's his mistake. So he's a sellout. Let's play this video. I want you guys to listen to Shapiro rip Turning Point USA speakers, and I just want you to first of all hear his voice, which drives me up a wall, and then just listen to him. He's such a little weenie. What a weasel.
Coalitions. It's the job of those of us who try to shape public opinion to hold politicians to account and to hold them accountable to our values.
Wait a second. Our values or Israel's values? Oh, I'm sorry. It's not Israel's values. Benjamin Netanyahu's values, right? Because that's who you're shilling for. Because you're not even shilling for Israel. I didn't hear you speak out against mRNA jabs until way later, right? Until it became clear you were going to get your ass handed to you on that. You're not pushing. If you cared about the Israeli people, you'd have an issue with that.
We must not let fear of audience deter us from telling the truth.
Well, I mean, how about fear of your funders?
We must not let fear of other hosts deter us from telling the truth.
Well, I'm
so,
not.
For example, if Candace Owens decides to spend every day since the murder of Charlie Kirk.
Okay, here's Ben Shapiro ripping Candace Owens. Listen, I thought he wanted to, who's he against, right? Who's he against? Is he against other conservative MAGA, or is he against the left? Because here what you've got is instead of fighting bad guys, he's fighting his own. He may not disagree with Owens, but why focus on Owens? Owens is MAGA. You may not agree with her, but she's MAGA. But you see, Ben Shapiro is not MAGA. He's MAGA. But it's not. I don't like the MAGA thing, right? Because it make Israel great again. I don't like that because it's not. And guys, I want to warn you: quit saying MAGA. Quit saying that you're against Jewish people. It's not the Jewish people. It's not Israel. They're good. It's Benjamin Netanyahu. It's the corrupt leadership of the Israeli government, right? We can attack that. We can make hay with that because that's true. I can show you corruption in the Israeli government, right? I can show you that. What I can't show you is, so I can't show you what's indefensible or untrue. Just because you're Jewish doesn't mean you're evil. Just because Israel is not their country like any other country. They got good guys, they got bad guys. Jewish people are like any other religion. They got good guys, they got bad guys. Just like Christianity, just like the United States. We got to quit going after the wrong people. The problem is Benjamin Netanyahu and his dictatorial tendencies and sellouts like Ben Shapiro who keep kissing his ass. That's the problem.
So, if Candace Owens decides to spend every day since the murder of Charlie Kirk casting aspersions at TPUSA and the people who work here, who worked with Charlie every single day, his best friends, to cast aspersions at Mikey McCoy and Andrew Colvin and Blake Neff and Tyler Boyer, and yes, at Erica Kirk, and to imply or outright claim complicity in a cover-up over Charlie's murder, to spew absolutely baseless trash implicating everyone from French intelligence to Mossad to...
Wait. I don't know who is behind this, but we're still being told that this was a lone gunman using a 30-06. I'm sorry, I don't need to know any more than I know to know that that was not a 30-06. A 30-06 from 150 yards doesn't act like that when it hits a person. And there are no bones of steel on this planet that stop a 30-06 bullet from 150 yards. Get over yourself, Shapiro. You're a douche.
Members of TPUSA in Charlie's murder or a cover-up in that murder, then we, as people with a microphone, have a moral obligation to call that out by name.
Right. You focus on that because that's definitely, listen, there's cover-up. I don't know, there's cover-up on Charlie Kirk's murder. There's no question in my mind. Now, I have no evidence, and I haven't followed what Candace has said on it. I have no evidence suggesting anybody at Turning Point USA had anything to do with it. What I do, and I just haven't listened to what Candace said to say on it. I don't know. But what I do know is that regardless of what she's had to say, Shapiro is accusing her of exactly what he's doing, creating division. He's doing the same thing.
Erica Kirk and TPUSA never should have been put in the position to have to defend themselves against such specious and evil attacks, particularly in a time of mourning. And the people who refuse to condemn Candace's truly vicious attacks, and some of them are speaking here, are guilty of cowardice. Yes, cowardice.
Says the guy who sells out to everybody that can pay.
The fact that they have said nothing while Candace has been vomiting all sorts of hideous and conspiratorial nonsense into the public square for years is just as cowardly.
Okay, let's stop right there. No. Cowardly is your inability to keep the focus on where the issues are. Shapiro is cowardly. Cowardly is him attacking our people. There are real bad guys out there, right? Real bad guys. I liked this. So Glenn Greenwald posted this, and I want to read this to you. I just don't like Shapiro. I'm sorry. Shapiro is just a weenie sellout, and it's the best I can say. But Glenn Greenwald says, it's very important and helpful that Ben Shapiro is the face of the GOP establishment's attempts to reclaim full control of the party and eject what it regards as America First poison. It says everything one needs to know about what is really driving this inter-party war. There are good reasons Shapiro was explicitly never Trump from the start. He hated Trump's 2016 vow to uproot and destroy the establishment GOP dogma. That's true. Shapiro is straight up establishment. Ben ultimately had to bend the knee to Trump to keep a career in conservative media, but he always was and still is religiously devoted to exact doctrines. The ban and design Trump 2016 campaign postured as opposing. Namely, Bush, Cheney, neoconservative, endless wars, sending American resources to other country, wars, and above all, Israel. And to the Romney-Ryan corporatism, which watched him, Tucker, you see him, you can see him go after Tucker for opposing, high interest and some of these other things. Shapiro is beloved by bipartisan establishment. He goes on CNN with Jake Tapper to call Tucker an anti-Semite. I mean, he's just garbage, right? So I don't like Shapiro at all, right? I just find him to be disgusting. Meanwhile, let's listen to Tucker Carlson here. I want to listen to Tucker. Let's get him going. I love this.
Whoa! Walking out is always such a trip at these things. I just got here, and I feel like I missed the first part of the program. I hope I didn't miss anything meaningful. But I just want to say, I don't think I did. No, I'm just kidding. I watched it. I laughed. That kind of bitter, sardonic laugh that emerges from you when, like, upside down world arrives. When your dog starts doing your taxes and you're like, wait, it's not supposed to work this way. To hear calls for, like, deplatforming and denouncing people at a Charlie Kirk event, I'm like, what?
I love that. This is exactly right. I love what Tucker said here. You've got Ben Shapiro, douchebag, calling for censorship at a Charlie Kirk event. Think about that.
Hilarious. Yeah, this is hilarious. Actually, one of the clips I was listening to myself, thinking as I often do when I hear myself speak, which is never, because I never watch myself, but at these events, they always play like the role of you. And I'm like, that guy is pompous. Woo! Sorry about that. We don't see ourselves clearly. But the prediction that, at some point when Republicans took power again, which I did everything I could, to help.
That's
I really
good.
felt that was important. I still think, I was right. But I really thought that the impulse to deplatform people, or even to use the word platform as a verb, which it's not, it's a noun, don't steal my nouns, deplatform and denounce. Why haven't you denounced somebody else? The whole, like, Red Guard Cultural Revolution thing that we so hated and feared on the left that we did everything we could to usher in a new time where you could have an actual debate. I mean, this kind of was the whole point of Charlie Kirk's public life. And I think that he died for it. I really believe that. And I know a lot about it because the last several months of Charlie's life were devoted in part to arguing about this event, in fact, this speech, in fact, my speech here.
Yeah. So Charlie Kirk wanted Tucker to be there. Ben Shapiro and all his little cronies don't want Tucker to be there. Why?
Which he asked me to do earlier this year, this summer, and was immediately put under just immense pressure from people who give money to Turning Point, I would assume good people, but who wanted him to take me off the roster. And this has all become public, and the whole thing is so sad that I never talk about it, except to say Charlie stood firm in his often stated and deeply held belief that people should be able to debate, and that if you have something valid to say, if you're telling the truth, you ought to be able to explain it calmly and in detail to people who don't agree with you, and that you shouldn't immediately resort to shut up racist.
One would think. But that's what Ben Shapiro has, because Ben Shapiro is arguing from a foundation of sand. When you're arguing lies, when you're trying to argue an indefensible position, and that is that, we have to censor, we have to block, we have to deplatform people who have ideals different than us instead of debating them, you lose the argument every time. But that's what Shapiro does, right? That's what these guys do. It's kind of like what the left does, right? I want to go on. I want to play another tip of Tucker because this is a really, really important. So this is another one, and this is where he talks more about Israel. Now, again, I'm pro-Israel, but I'm anti-Netanyahu. So I want you guys to listen to what he says here on it. I got a question.
Is the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, commonly known as AIPAC, is them being in America and not registered with FARA like all other lobbying groups in America, is that America first? Is it America first for senators, Congress, and even our president to take money from AIPAC?
Is it America first to take money from a foreign lobby so you'll send taxpayer dollars to that country? Even the question kind of answers itself. Obviously it isn't. And that's not an attack on Israel. It's certainly not anti-Semitism, despite the efforts of many to claim that it is. It's just an obvious statement. And the fact that people are attacked for asking the question, this is something that I talked to Charlie a lot about in his final months, because he was being attacked as an anti-Semite for asking that question. And we've memory hold that, but I was there, so I saw it. That's not the right way. Don't attack people's motives. And I have a lot to attack people's motives. I'm trying to remind myself, don't do that. Respond to what they're saying, right? And so, no, of course it's not. And it's totally fine to ask about why a foreign government tried to sink one of our ships in 1967. That doesn't make you an anti-Semite, sorry. Those are Americans who died. And by the way, yeah, whatever. Anyway, but the point is, no, of course not. And that's why they won't have the conversation. And my point is, I'm 56, my kids are grown. I'm just not afraid of you at all. I don't hate you or anyone else. I love this country. I'm going to be here till I die. I have an absolute...
All right. Folks, I don't know. This Israel issue is really a rough one for me. Like I said, it's being used. It's all part of the deep state. So this deep state is really tied in. I don't know. I don't trust Netanyahu. So whether he's got intel or Mossad or whatever, I don't know. I just know that we can't go after Israel because of bad leadership, but we do need to go after their leadership. Netanyahu sucks and needs to go. So I like what Tucker had to say. I like where he's going with it. I agree with him. Some great stuff. I want to get a couple last things in here before we call her a day. Because there's some important stuff happening. Headline, Democrats urge to drop bipartisan stock trading ban. So Rep. Luna, Anna Paulina, has put a discharge petition in, got 74 signatures, 59 Dems and 15 Republicans, needs 218. And basically what it would do is block the insider trading in Congress. This needs to happen. It needs to happen now. So this is a critical thing. Naturally, it's not happening, right? She's trying to put it out there, and it's just not going anywhere. Because Hakeem Jeffries, Democrat lunatic leftist, is really trying to undermine this. He's trying to fight against it. Wants his members to withdraw their support until he offers his own personalized version. This is it's messed up. It's a messed up thing. The whole thing is a messed up thing, and I think it's garbage. All right, next headline. Oh, I don't want that one. Let me see. Where is this? Bipartisan stock, stalled election reforms. Oh, did you see this about the stalled election? So in 2025, April, the House passed the SAVE Act, which required proof of citizenship and birth certificates for voter registration. Do you know that the Senate still hasn't been able to do anything with that? Nothing. Legislation's there. House passed it. Nothing from the Senate because Well, the Senate is deeply, deeply, deeply corrupted. So, anyways, that's happening. Let's see here. Fulton County, Georgia. So, Trump lost the 2020 election by 11,800 votes. 315,000 early votes were counted that, they didn't have valid signatures. They weren't validly checked. Literally, this was acknowledged. Georgia acknowledged that they didn't follow rules. So you got hundreds of thousands of votes potentially that could have changed the outcome of the election, and yet we're not even looking to see whether or not that's a thing. Folks, our country is in deep water. It's scary. The deep state is winning. We've got to fight back, and we need to really get loud. We need to get Donald Trump to step up and take some steps, because it's just going the wrong direction. So support us, givesendgo.com/Renslog and TomRenz.com, TomRenz.com. Use checkout code RENS anywhere you shop. And listen, folks, we're so grateful for you all. We'll see you next week, but Merry Christmas. Have a great weekend, and we'll be back very soon.
Thank you for watching the Tom Renz Show. Join us live Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern, putting an axe in the skull of tyranny.
The MAGA revolution in cryptocurrency is here, reclaiming financial freedom for every American. Tired of globalist banks and deep state control? Blockchain is our weapon for sovereignty. Be a step ahead with Animus AI technology. Ranked #1 worldwide, exclusively available through Block Trust IRA. But beware, the wild ride volatility and scams lurk. Yet, with Trump-era policies like the Genius Act, we're tokenizing prosperity for veterans and the heartland. Globalist elites are panicking as leftist-controlled banks scrabble in the dust as MAGA investors access revolutionary technology. Reclaim your freedom with Block Trust IRA.
Join the fight to protect your wealth. Go to TomRenzCrypto.com and talk to Block Trust IRA now.
Listen live to The Tom Renz Show Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern.